London's pubs, more than just places to drink. They are living history, stories whispered from centuries ago, echoes of laughter, debates and songs. Each pub, a world of its own. Step inside, feel the warmth of wood and welcome. Breathe in the scent of ale and time. These pubs witnessed history. Kings and queens, writers and rogues, they all raised a glass here. Their stories are etched in the very fabric. In the worn down steps, the creaking floorboards. Listen closely. Can you hear the whispers of the past? In this journey, we'll explore London's legendary pubs. We'll uncover the stories. We'll meet the ghosts. We'll discover why these pubs remain the heart and soul of London. Let's begin on Fleet Street, home of journalists and printers for centuries. And here, tucked away, is the ye olde Cheshire Cheese. Rebuilt after the Great Fire of London in 1667, but its history goes back further, much further. Imagine. The year 1538, Henry VIII is on the throne, and the Cheshire Cheese is already a popular spot. It's said to have been a monastery tavern before that. Centuries of history soaked into the wood. This pub was a favourite of writers. Charles Dickens himself. He mentions it in A Tale of Two Cities. Picture him here, writing in a corner, a glass of something warming by his side. The Cheshire Cheese is a labyrinth. Narrow passageways and low ceilings. It feels like stepping back in time. The ghosts of literary giants seem to linger here. Perhaps you'll feel a brush of inspiration as you sip your pint. Next, we journey north to Hampstead Heath, wild and open even today, and overlooking it all, the Spaniards Inn. A coaching inn since 1585, a place of rest for weary travellers. But the Heath held danger too. Highwaymen roamed, Dick Turpin most infamous of all. Legend says he used the Spaniards Inn as a hideout. Imagine him lurking in the shadows, planning his next daring heist. Inside the pub is a haven, low beams, roaring fires, the perfect place to escape the London fog. Or a highwayman chase. The poet Keats found inspiration here. So did the artist Constable. The Spaniards Inn is more than a pub. It's a part of the Heath's wild spirit, a place of legend and beauty. Sit by the fire and let your imagination wander back to the days of highwaymen and poets. South of the river now, to Southwark, the heart of London's theatre scene in Shakespeare's time, and here stands the George Inn, the last remaining galleried inn in London, dating back to 1687, but its history goes back further, to the time of the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare himself may have walked these cobbled streets. Did he stop for a pint at the George? We can only imagine. The George is a survivor. It withstood the Great Fire. It saw off the Blitz. It stands today as a testament to London's enduring spirit. Step into the courtyard, look up at the galleried walkways, hear the echoes of actors and playwrights. The George is a living link to Shakespeare's London, a place where history and theatre collide. Section 5, the Mayflower Pub setting sail for the New World. Now to the banks of the Thames, to Rotherhithe, where ships once set sail for the New World, and where the Mayflower Pub still stands, rebuilt but on the very spot where the Mayflower ship docked. Imagine, the year 1620, the Mayflower is preparing to sail. Carrying the Pilgrim Fathers to America, did they share a last drink at this very spot? Did they raise a toast to their perilous journey? The Mayflower Pub is a reminder of London's global connections, a place where history and adventure collide. Sit by the river, watch the boats go by, and imagine the Mayflower setting sail. Bound for a new world, the pub's interior is warm and inviting. Nautical memorabilia adorn the walls, models of ships, maps of old voyages. The Mayflower Pub is a tribute to those who dared to cross the ocean, a place to reflect on their journey and their legacy. Section 6, the prospect of Whitby, a view of the gallows, eastward now to Wapping, once a rough-and-tumble Docklands area. Here, perched on the banks of the Thames, is the prospect of Whitby, one of London's oldest riverside pubs. Its name is chilling. It offered a prospect of the gallows at Execution Dock, where pirates and smugglers met their end. Crowds would gather, drinking at the prospect of Whitby, watching the grim spectacle unfold. Inside, the pub is full of nautical charm, dark wood beams, brass fittings, and a sense of history. You might even spot the ghost of hanging Judge Jeffreys, said to haunt the pub, seeking one last drink before his judgment day. The prospect of Whitby has changed over time. once a haunt for sailors and smugglers, now a popular spot for tourists and locals alike. But the Thames still flows, and the pub's connection to London's dark past remains. Section 7, The Lamb and Flag, A Bucket of Blood. We journey now to Covent Garden, to a small alleyway. Here hides the Lamb and Flag, known as the Bucket of Blood, in its more boisterous days. This pub was once the site of bare-knuckle boxing matches. Imagine the crowds, the roar of the fight, the clinking of tankards, a very different atmosphere from today. But the Lamb and Flag has a softer side too. It was once owned by the Actors Guild, and it still has a connection to the theatre world. Step inside, you'll find a cosy pub with a literary history. Charles Dickens was a regular here, as was the poet William Blake. The Lamb and Flag is a reminder that London's pubs are more than just drinking dens. They are places of history, culture and community, places where stories are shared and legends are born. Section 8, Time Travellers and Tankards. We've journeyed through time, from Shakespeare's London to the days of highwaymen, from the grim spectacle of Execution Dock to the literary haunts of Fleet Street. Each pub a world of its own. These pubs are more than just buildings, they are living museums, places where the past is present, where the ghosts of London's history still linger, in the creaking floorboards, in the flickering gaslight, in the stories whispered from generation to generation. And what of the future? London's pubs have seen it all. They have adapted and survived. They will continue to be places of gathering, places of comfort, places where stories are shared.